Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. Last Thursday, stakeholders and financial analysts alike had First National Bank Botswana's financial results and dividend announcements for the year ended 30th of June 2016 presented to them by both the company's Chief Executive Officer and its Chief Financial Officer. We were told that the bank's growth has remained in the negatives, moving from minus 18% in 2015 to minus 15% this financial year. And it also saw its share price decline from 16 pula in June 2015 to 11 pula this June. Yet the presenters expressed satisfaction with the performance and confidence for the future. This, they say, is due to the fact that in line with the bank's strategy to weather a tough economic climate by growing advances and improving sources of funding, among other things, FNB recorded a 12% growth in advances, outpacing market growth of 8%, a 7% increase in non-interest income, and 4% balance sheet growth. Among what they listed as a number of wins at the core of their operations, they shared that they had also increased their customer base by 6% in this time. What type of environment is responsible for such results? Both our guests this evening share their views as to what made for a tough economic climate and thus difficult financial year.
We all know that our economy is driven by minerals, particularly diamond. And diamond revenues will dictate the spending that government is going to make. And that spending becomes very visible in the banking sector with figures such as the credit extension. We've seen credit extension to the business community declining by just under 0%. We have seen credit extended to the individuals increasing by about 7%. Obviously, what worries us and what worries me is the fact that businesses are not growing. If credit extended to businesses is not growing, that means the businesses are not seeing any growth opportunities. Therefore, they are not creating employment. That's something that has to worry all of us as Botswana.
It's been a difficult period. I think the last 2 years or so, the banking industry has been weathering the storm with the liquidity challenges in the last 24 months that have started easing off. With the challenges in the mining industry, with closure of mines, junior mines, we've seen consumers coming under pressure, those that have lost their jobs. You know, businesses downstream to junior mines were also closing down. So it has been quite a challenging environment to operate in.
One positive is that FNB grew its customer base by 6%. Although that is quite a feat, I'm sure it comes with a lot of, well, not a lot of, with its own challenges. How would you say you're managing the quality of customer service with this increased customer base? What kind of things are you hearing from your customers?
That's a very good question, Namitso. Because yes, in this environment where customers are not borrowing to the level that we expect them to, especially in the corporate space. Customers are not transacting as often as they should to enable us to earn non-interest revenue. We still have to spend money in order to service our customers. So customers expect that whether the environment is doing well or not, that you still service them. They come to the branches, they do inquiries, they want to do their statements, they want to do all sorts of services. They still expect service. With a growing customer base, it brings about challenges on the kind of service model that we have in place in order to service our customers. And that's one of the reasons why we have improved our contact center. We have improved from a call center to a contact center in order to ensure that we are servicing our customers efficiently and effectively. So we have increased the contact center, spent on the systems, and spent on resources in order to enable us to service the increasing customer base that we have. We are also continuing as FNB to offer our customers or to motivate to our customers that they do not have to come to branches in order to do their transactions, in order to avail themselves of the services that we offer. They can actually do it using the self-service channels that we have created. We've got deposit-taking ATMs. We've got our ATMs that are running at about 97% at any point in time. We've got a whole lot of other self-service channels that we have introduced within the channel space so that customers don't need to come to a branch or don't need to go and see a teller. So those are the sort of initiatives that we are putting in place in order to cater for this increasing customer base.
I'm personally a fan of online banking myself. You mentioned that there are companies or institutions that are now encroaching into the financial services sector. And which kind of products are they providing competition for?
It's particularly, we call it disintermediation, where customers meet with other sectors of the economy, where they go directly to get lending opportunities, where we find those with surplus funds going directly to corporates to give them access to those funds so that they don't have to come to the banking sector. So it impacts our ability to give term loans. It has impacted other products that we have, such as e-wallet. It is impacting invoice financing, because we have seen other players coming into the market to offer invoice financing.
Welcome back to First Issues as we continue to look into FNB's end-of-year financial results with the help of the bank's CEO, Stephen Bogatsu. You've said that these types of institutions have come for your lunch and therefore you'll be going for their dinner. In which ways are you going to be doing that?
Banking is evolving. At the center of that evolution is actually your attempt to service your customer properly. So we have at the heart of our strategy customer centricity, where we are offering our customers, in everything that we do, we are doing it to ensure that we are offering our customers the right products, the right service. So we have looked at the ecosystem that our customer is in, and we have decided that there are certain products that we are going to introduce which are not necessarily traditional banking products, and the market will just have to wait until we make such announcements.
I suspected you may play your cards close to your chest on that particular one. It's understandable. But despite this tough environment, you have mentioned that the bank has continued to invest heavily into its operations and its systems. Can you tell us the thinking behind that strategy there?
We realize that some of our branches are dilapidated, that they are not at a point where they can offer our customers the service that they should be accustomed to. So we have embarked on a project where we are refurbishing our branches in order to introduce more electronic products, in order to give especially the old branches, the look and feel of the new branches. If you look at CBD and the old industrial branch, for instance, you'd not think you're walking into the same FNB. So we have refurbished industrial branch so far. We have refurbished Kanye and moved Kanye, and we'll continue refurbishing other branches. The reason why we are investing so much, not only in the refurbishment of branches, in skilling our people, as well as introducing more ATMs and ADTs, is because even in this challenging environment, we know that the future is bright. We know that things are going to improve. And we just want to make sure, you rightly pointed out earlier that our customer base has increased by 6%. We want to make sure that when the storm is finally over, that our customers will be better serviced. We are not waiting for the storm to end before we start refurbishing our branches and investing in technology and ATMs and everything else. We want to do it now so that we can ride the wave when it eventually happens.
When do you anticipate for the storm to be over? Is it something close at hand or medium term? What kind of time frame are you anticipating?
The dark cloud is actually clearing as far as we see. And where I'm getting that optimism from is from engagement with my customers. Most of them have indicated that they expect this new financial year, 2017, to be much better than 2016. We have actually seen the loan pipeline opening up and moving. So there is a lot of activity that we are seeing. The national credit statistics, credit extension statistics have indicated there is an upward movement. I mean, as of December, we are sitting with a credit extension of about 7.1%. We are now currently sitting with credit extension as of April of about 10%, and some of it is actually to the business community. The business community is no longer just declining. There are indications that it's actually creeping up as well. So I believe we are out of the hole. We are slowly emerging out of the hole. So it'll be a much better year.
FNB's results may be an indicator as well, I assume, from negatives last financial year into back into the red.
We have had a number of once-offs. This particular year we had a couple of once-offs, once-off expenses that impacted our results. But even with those once-offs, last year our PBT was sitting at negative 18. It is now sitting at negative 13. The engine of the bank has improved. When Makau, the CFO, was presenting the financials, he indicated that the income, which last year was declining, is actually on an upward trajectory. So our income, our total income, both interest income and non-interest revenue, have improved by about 7%. So we know we are out of the hole. The challenge that we had was with expenses, where we had significant once-offs in order to realign expectations. So we totally believe that our results indicate that the engine is now very firm, is intact, and we are ready for the challenges of 2017.
Welcome back to First Issues as we continue to look into FNB's end-of-year financial results with the help of the bank's CEO, Stephen Bogadzu. Now asking him how the bank plans to mitigate the possible increase in impairments once consumers have to once again contend with high interest rates after this period of low interest rates comes to an end.
That is actually something that worries me very, very much. The fact that in an environment where interest rates are declining, the only credit extension that we experienced in the past was credit extended to individuals. It worries me that when the interest rate cycle eventually starts going up, that we are going to face an unprecedented wave of impairments. So what we are doing as FNB is within our processes and systems, when we extend credit to the individuals and businesses, we stress test what we are able to give them in order to ensure that when interest rates eventually go up, these have been stress tested and we have been conservative in what we are giving to particularly to the individuals as well as the small businesses.
Welcome back to First Issues as we continue to look into FNB Botswana's end-of-year results. With the man behind the numbers, Chief Financial Officer Makau Dibakwane, now giving us a brief summary, both the positives and the least pleasing aspects of the bank's performance this past financial year.
2016 results were a bit of a mixed bag because last year we experienced a decline in profit of about 18%. However, in this financial year, we experienced a decline of about 15%, So there was a slight improvement year on year. However, our expectations were far better than that. However, that performance is not really indicative of the core business. The core business still shows sound growth, with our net income from operations increasing about 7% on the back of good growth in non-interest revenue of about 7%, as well as the growth in our interest income following the strategies of reducing our interest expenses. So our balance sheet growth has also grown about 4%, but given the current economic conditions, we had a strategy of actually reducing our liabilities by rationalizing between the term funding and what we might call professional funding. So what we've done is that we were looking at ways on how to build a sustainable business in this financial year, considering the limited lending as well as investment opportunities in the market.
Thank you for staying with us as at this point in our program, as we continue to look at FNB's financial results announced last Thursday, we asked the bank's CFO what the once-off costs that both he and the CEO referred to as having greatly dented the bank's bottom line were.
The cost growth of the bank for the financial year June 2016 increased by about 26%. When we're looking at our core cost base, the growth there was about 10%, meaning that the normal operational costs of what we term business as usual increased by about 10%. Some of the major one-offs that we experienced, one of them related to depreciation. So the bank reviewed the useful lives of existing assets and determined that for certain asset classes that we should shorten the useful lives due to infrastructure enhancements and systems upgrades. The financial effect of this reassessment has been accounted for prospectively as a change in accounting estimates, and as a result, the depreciation for the year was increased by about 40 million. So that is the major once-off we had.
To conclude our discussion, both our guests share the reasons for their very evident confidence in the fact that FNB has indeed weathered the storm and for positive growth going forward, despite the recent difficulties.
A number of signs that indicate to me that we've weathered the storm, that the storm is over. The first one is a couple of years ago, or 2 years ago to be exact, we indicated that this industry was faced with sharp liquidity pressures that have since abated through the interventions of various instruments that Bank of Botswana introduced, such as reduction in the capital adequacy ratio from 10% to 5%. I have also been interviewing a number of businessmen, some of my customers who have indicated that they are now very confident about the future. They are seeing prospects. That is also corroborated by the statistics that we are seeing at national credit extension level, where the business community is now beginning to borrow. In the past, if you reflect on the past year, the credit growth was driven by credit extended to individuals. We have now begun to see credit moving from 7%, the national credit extension moving from 7% in December to about 10% now in April. And a very good proportion of that credit extension is actually credit extended to the business community. Now that says to me, if the business community is seeing an increase in its credit extension, they are seeing growth opportunities, and with growth opportunities come employment creation. So those are some of the things that are giving me confidence. We have also seen stability in the energy sector, both water and electricity. Now, you know that those are very important inputs into commerce and industry in order for growth to continue. We know that government is also spending, has indicated that they'll be spending a lot more in the economy, such as through NDP 11 and other programs that they have previously announced. So a combination of all these factors indicate to me, and statistics also verify that the prospects into the future are much better than where we are coming from. That's where I'm drawing my comfort from.
We are very hopeful, and mainly because when we look at our forecasts for the next financial year, we believe that the business is sound and is poised for growth. As I earlier alluded in our discussions, that the engine of the bank is positive. The net income from operations, which is our net interest income, as well as our non-interest revenue after impairments, shows a growth of 7% year on year. So despite the turbulent period we have gone through with impairments coming through as junior mines were closed and people being retrenched, bringing some strain to the consumer, we've still seen positive growth. So the core engine of the business is still performing very well. So all we really need to do is have a focus around our costs. The once-offs are in the past. We believe that they will not repeat themselves. Therefore, the engine is running and we expect a positive outcome in the new financial year.
We look forward to hearing your views on tonight's topic, and now share the most thought-provoking message from our viewers based on discussion regarding the potential for the professionalization and thus commercialization of local football. It comes from Lawrence Timologo in Serowe, who should expect to see some first issues merchandise headed his way. And it reads, "It is about time that all sports leaders educate football lovers and supporters on the need to transform from societal teams to companies in order to have a fully professional league which can diversify the economy." With that perfect summary, it is goodbye from the First Issues team until next week, same time, same place.